Rumors about an impending strike have been dispelled by Emmanuel Osodeke, the president of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, as insinuations have been making the rounds following a ruling in favor of the federal government's no work, no pay policy.
Well, Nigeria's public universities have seen repeated disruptions in academic calendars over the years, with striking lecturers protesting funding deficits, poor conditions of service, and the likes. Well, joining us now is the president of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Mr. Emmanuel Osodeke. He will give us more updates on the situation. Good morning, and thank you so much for being here on Breakfast Central.
Thank you very much.
All right. So let's go straight into this. Impending strikes, here again, statements are being made. You've embarked on 16 strikes so far, so good. Why this situation? Why the mention of strike again, especially with what we're hearing?
Thank you very much. I believe that the Nigerian press, when they are reporting, report exactly what you see. Don't put your own idea. If you look at the text of our press conference, nobody mentioned the work strike. The union raised issues that are standing with government and asked government to act on them. Nobody used the word strike in that, but what you see in Nigeria today is that the press will just go ahead and report whatever they feel like reporting. So when they included that word strike, we are not aware of it.
Okay, you've said the union has shared what the concerns are with the federal government. Can you kindly share with us what these concerns are?
These are the issues that have been there for the past 7 years. We started negotiation with federal government in 2017. That negotiation, we concluded it first in 2020. The government refused to sign. They settled on that panel, headed by late Emeritus Professor Nimi Briggs, and we reached an agreement again in 2022. They refused to sign. So all the issues there, the issue of remuneration of a lecturer, the issue of university autonomy, the issue of funding of universities, were the issues we raised in that agreement that both sides agreed. Today, Nigerian professors earn the lowest amount in the whole world, and you can check. And that's why no professors want to come out from any other part of the world to come and lecture in Nigeria, while Nigerians are busy running from the country to from Nigeria to that country to teach. Similarly, in that, our terms of press release, we also talk about our withheld salary. They said no work, no pay. But for those work that we didn't do at that time, have all been done, and the Nigerian press will also challenge them to go around the whole university and check where we are, every university is, and check if those work have not been done. So if those work have been done, we also expect government to now pay our workers, our members, for those work that they have done. Simple. We also talk the issue of little course, CC mass, curriculum, whatever, developed by an individual, and try to force on Nigerian university system. And we are saying that it is the function of a Senate to develop, to produce a curriculum for the program in the universities. There is no university in the world where two universities run the same curriculum. There is none. And we are saying, let university develop its own. The role of any university should be able to add as a guide, to produce a guide for which university will produce its own. Not any university producing maybe a group of maybe 50 or 60 people sitting down and producing and forcing on the system. If you call all the professional body today, they are all against that particular thing because they have completely downgraded what they have as curriculum. So that is one of them. We also talk the issue of insecurity in the country. We talk issue about the present hardship you have in the country, where people can no more to go to our lecturer to go to work in a month. Because in those days, there used to be at staff quarters, to go to work in a month for a of 20-25 days, you spend no less than 100 to 200,000 naira on transport alone, on fueling of your vehicle. So what is left for the lecturer to survive on? The same thing happened to the average Nigerian. So those are the issues for which we are indicated to government that they have to do something as quickly as possible to avoid crisis again in the system.
All right, thank you for highlighting what these concerns are. We're going to short break. When we come back, the conversation continues. The conversation between ASUU and the federal government as to what the demands of ASUU are, and you've highlighted what these demands are. What would you say in the past years, or between the last issue that ASUU had with the federal government. Have there been any implementing of some of these agreements? Has there been any form of progress made before we got to this current situation where you're now putting forward your demands again, which have been misconstrued to include a strike?
Well, none have been implemented except one. That is release of decision panel reports of the decision team that were sent to universities. Those reports have been released. I think for now, that is the only thing that has been done. No other thing has been implemented. Backlog of salary there, negotiations signed, is not signed. Release of even money they have in the budget last year that had to do with the issue of earned academic allowance, none have been released. The issue of a need assessment report, need assessment fund, they have not been released. But we were shown evidence that those money were there in the last year budget. So we are giving the government the opportunity, the time, to see that we should be able to have discussions. We should be able to implement what we agreed on to avoid the crisis you have in the system. Those are why we are already raising this issue. It's more than 3 months now. It's about 3 months now, and nothing has happened. And we believe that the interest of our children, of our students at the university, polytechnic, college education, there have to be some attention paid to the education system. Any country that undermines its education, undermines its growth. And I believe that there will be a change. There should be a paradigm shift from what we have seen in the past government, where they are interested in how to punish the lecturer, how to punish the student, while their children are having their sweet and smooth academic progress outside the country. I think we have to look back at our country.
Well, looking back at our country, like you've said, but let me also bring this forward. Some months back, there were insinuations, especially coming from the government, that some of the lecturers on IPIS, on that system, some of them were non-existent. Rather, they were ghost workers, and this formed some of the basis why payments were indeed being dragged. Can you confirm to us how true this was?
You see, this issue, today, the National Assembly is probing the IPIS, and is it not? What have they discovered? That is the crisis we have in the system. It has nothing to do. Before this IPIS came in, every university council, every university vice chancellor know how many staff they have. They know who is their staff. They know who is being paid from the university. Today, nobody knows. You have seen the National Assembly, what do you call it, Federal Character Commission. You have seen what is happening. You can do a check. The number of people employed, the staff increment that have been employed in recent time, completely outnumber what you had before. The fraud you have today, what they are telling you is not correct. The fraud you have today is what has been imposed on the system by IPs. The IPs is such a way that no which know who is being paid from the universities. All are done at IPs. So they are the one creating this job, this thing, and lecturers not being the so-called lecturers who are not being paid, who are not. Federal government need to stop IPs. There is nowhere in the world where several lecturers are paid from the Africa Canada. When lecturers were being paid by university, there are checks. When the university develop a budget, you go to the Ministry of Budget, go to Ministry of Education, then it goes to National Assembly, who will now look at it, vet that project, look at what you do with the past year, and give you a new fund. Then every 5 years, a panel is set up, look at what you have done with the money. But with IPIS, nobody is checking what IPIS is doing. And I must congratulate the new National Assembly, the House of Representatives, for having the courage to probe IPIS. And you are seeing the result. When people are buying jobs, people are being paid when they are not working, they don't know what they are working. That is the problem we have today. And the government has to stop IPIS, especially in universities. And look at the one the union has developed, pay system for each university called UTAS. With UTAS, even the president can sit down in office and check what is happening in universities. The general can sit down and check what universities. National Assembly can sit down and check what is happening. Open, encompassing the human resources and the finance. But IPIS is just finance. Nobody knows the human resources. You can check the Auditor General report of 2019. If the federal government have published that and implemented it, we will not be where we are today. So it's not about lecturers not being present. That's what IPIS have established. What IPIS has established is that IPIS has destroyed the system. And the report is very clear. Thank God the investigation by the National Assembly is in the open, and we're all seeing the result.
All right. Looking at the education sector, I'm sure that you would agree that it hasn't been up to par with global best practices, especially in previous administrations. Now, if we look at the current administration, we already have a Minister of Education. Are you excited by the quality of the current Minister of Education? And, if you could speak to him on the areas, on things that need to be done, policies that needs to be implemented in ensuring that the education sector is brought up to global best practices, is brought up to standard. What are some of the things you would say to Professor Tahir Maman?
Well, we have his background. He has been in the system, but we expect that those who strangled the last Minister of Education will also strangle him. So it's not about the minister alone. IPs came in. The minister have no control about IPs. Funding, the minister have no control about funding. So let this system, not just look at the minister, let's look at this whole system. In the 70s, 80s, 60s, Nigeria, the Western region, give up to 30% of their budget to education. In West Africa, no country give less than 50% of their budget to education. But last year, government in the last year, 2022, get 3.5% of budget to education. That is the origin of the problem. Any day we start prioritizing education like other countries, you start getting results. So don't tie it to a minister. Let's tie it to the system. Let's have an appropriate budget allocation to the university, to education, and the system will grow. Our lecturers will not be running away. Our students will not be running away and paying huge amount of tuition fee to other country. That is the way to go. When no lecturer is coming from outside the country, no student is coming from Benin Republic, not from Niger. No students is. We are even going to Sudan. Large amounts of Nigerians going to Sudan for lectures, going to Ukraine. Let's build our system. We have the population, we have the intelligentials. Let's fund the system appropriately so that we can start having students coming from outside the world as it was in the 70s, 80s.
Well, you just rightly said, as it was in the 70s, 80s, how a lot of foreign students were indeed coming into Nigeria. But let me also ask this, as it is prevalent in the medical sector where you have doctors who are in quotes, jackbuying for a better remuneration, better pay, and the likes in other countries. What's it like in your sector currently? Do you still have academics? Are there still lecturers? Are they still ready and willing to sacrifice more amidst the drama that ASUU is indeed facing?
Let me explain to you. You can also do a check. Between what happened at the last strike, what the Minister of Labor then did, saying lecturers are like casual workers, no work, no pay, we pay you half. Go and check, not less than 5,000 to 10,000 serious academics have left the country. Because for the insane sort, when you can easily get whatever you want, university universal, no university in the world, real serious university you have in the world, you don't have an animal teaching there, lecturing. There's none. So when you want to treat them like casual labor, like that minister of the Chris did, they will leave. Just like doctors are leaving. You see, I had a conversation with one very prominent traditional ruler recently. And you know what he told me? That as president, Nigeria is giving aid to America and Britain. Meanwhile, we are happy and clapping hands when they give you 10 naira, $10, $20. And I say, how? He said, Nigeria will use this money to train doctors. Through the system, you become a high-ranking doctor. It goes to UK and America to treat Americans, to treat Britons. That you use your money to train doctors up to professorial level. And then the professors, after training with your money, with your system, he goes out to America and UK to go and lecture. That if you calculate how much is costing this country on those things, we are giving more aid to America and Britain, which is correct. Because we refuse to look at our system and build it in such a way that this our lecturer will come back. These medical people will come back. We pay the doctor $150,000 a month. When the man can get $5,000, $10,000 job outside the country, what will he do? He leaves. So we need to look at it. We need to check the system. This president, I know he has this wide view about this system. Let us sit down and look at our system. Especially these two critical areas, the academics and the medicals. We must look at it critically so that the student to staff to academic staff ratio will reduce. Now, some universities, student to academic staff is as high as 50, 80. When the NUC regulation is between 9 and 15.
Right.
The academic, the medical to doctor to patient is overblown. We need to look at it critically in the interest of our country.
Mr. Emmanuel Osodeke, thank you so much for your time with us this morning. We do hope to have you join us again, and maybe this time share better news as regards ASUU and the federal government coming to a middle point.
Thank you.
We now head to the southern part of Africa, where Zimbabwe's incumbent president, Emmerson Mnangagwa, was declared the winner in the country's presidential elections on Saturday after securing an absolute majority in a tense contest that was marred by delays. Meanwhile, leader of the opposition party, Nelson Chamisa, has now rejected the results announced by the electoral body, although it's not immediately known if he will mount a legal challenge. Details in this report.